convex, just convex, it can be like this. Biconvex, it means that it is double-sided. You have this side and you also have this side. So that's the difference between convex and biconvex. It means that it's curved 2 times. Okay, guys. Let's talk about the ear. Ear is simple. It's only have as one issue. Just maybe the mechanism. Ear. Have you ever thought of why your ears are big? Why your ears are big? Have you ever thought of it? Why don't you have ears on the top of the head? Why your ears are curved? Have you ever thought of it? You think it is just by mistake? No, God doesn't do mistakes. So it's not just by mistake that your ears are curved. The reason why your ears are curved is because you cannot tilt your ears like some of the animals. And we find out that those animals which can tilt the ears are they are not that much curved. So the curving in on your ear is as a result of trapping this sound from any direction without tilting your ear. If someone calls from the back, you'll be able to know that this sound is coming from the back. If there's someone is calling you from the side, you'll be able to hear, to be able to know without even looking at that person. Why? Because your ear is trapping that sound from any direction. So we have this part, which is the outer part of the ear. We call it the pinna. So the ear is divided into 3 sections. It's divided into this part. So all this is outer ear. Then you have this, which we call the middle ear. And then from there to this, we call it the inner ear. So now let's look at it in detail. The outer ear. The outer ear has what we call the tympanum. Sorry, the pinna. The pinna is this part which you see. So we call it pinna. And then it has this tube, which we call the auditory canal. Don't call it eardrum, call it auditory canal. Then we have this part, which we call, it's like a drum. Some books, they say eardrum. Don't call it eardrum, call it tympanum or tympanic membrane. Then we have the 3 bones, the smallest bones in a human body. The first one, we call it Marius, Incas, and Stepes. I abbreviate it as MIS. Don't call it hammer. Sometimes they call it like that. Hammer, anvil, and then stirrup. Yes. So you better call them Marias, Incas, and Stepes. That is scientifically. That is a KO, meaning that they won't argue about your answers. Okay, we continue. So these bonds, all these things they have, not these bonds, not these bonds, these bonds, those are the 3 bonds. All these parts, they have a function. So the same way you see me moving, the same way the sound is moving. We have this window. Check the shape. It is oval. So it's oval window. Inside there, you have a fluid. That fluid is called the lymph. It has the endolymph and the perilymph. We don't need to know it now. But that fluid is the one which helps in the transmission of this vibration. And then inside there, we have this coiled part, we call it a cochlea. We will see what is inside the cochlea. And then now we have the nerves which come from this cochlea, and then they go to the part of the brain. Remember, this is a sensation. This is a sensation. So hearing is a sensation. Therefore, we will call it, it is being called it goes to the cerebrum because cerebrum receives and interprets all the sensation. But there is this part we have not talked about, which we call the semicircular canal. So this is where balance is being done, meaning that your balance is as a result of your ear. So if you slap someone on the ear, then it means that that person will lose the balance. So don't do that. So don't slap people. However much it's so nice to slap someone on the ear, but you might lead to permanent effect of the balance. The person might lose balance permanently because we know you are enjoying slapping someone. Yes. All right. So meaning that the nerves which come from here, they don't go to cerebrum because the balance is not a sensation. Remember, balance and the muscle tone, equilibrium. We said which part of the brain is being controlled by cerebrum. Yes, is being controlled by cerebrum. So that it means that the nerves which are coming from the ear, they go to cerebrum. Now, we need now to understand the function of each. The function of each. All right. There is some few parts which we have not talked about. That is the eustachian tube. When you yawn, you feel that there is an air which is coming from the mouth to the ears. Yes, that air is there. It's going through the eustachian tube. Then you have the round window. It's round. That's why it's called round window. This one equalizes pressure from the inner ear. So now we need to know the function of each. Step 1. Thinner, the outer part. It collects sound and directs it. Corrects and directs it. So we want to see that word, it directs the sound wave. You see, it collects it and then directs it into this auditory canal so that you are able to go to the tympanic membrane. Then the auditory canal will transmit this sound wave so that it's able to hit the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane will vibrate. It's like you beating the drum. Yes, it will vibrate. And then when it vibrates, the vibration will be transmitted by these three bones. That is the malleus, incus, and the stapes. I say don't call it hammer, invel, and styra. Call it malleus, incus, and stapes. If you call it hammer, invel, and styra, they might give you, but after a discussion. So it's better to use this so that your answer has not been discussed about. So now these bones, we say that we call them oscles. The three bones found in the ear, we call them what? Oscles. These are the smallest bones in the human body. Yeah, that is the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. So these three bones, you see these lines I put. It shows that is the outer ear. Then these lines, you see them here. Those are the middle ear. And then this line going like this, that is the inner ear. So this oscus also has another function. From transmission of this vibration into the oval window, it has another function of amplifying the vibration. That's why we say that it amplifies the vibration. It amplifies the vibration. Then now we have the oval window. It's like oval. What I showed you here, that's like oval. So it's oval window. The function of the oval window is transmit this sound wave into the inner ear. You see this blue color. I don't know whether it's blue or what. There is a fluid inside there. So the oval window will vibrate in and out, and then causing this fluid also to move. You understand? So now we have entered the inner ear. So now this cochlea Yes, it has what called the organ of Corti. You need to know that. The organ of Corti. Those are the receptors. In the eye, we call them photoreceptors. Those are the rods and cones. Those are the sensitive cells. Here, we call them organ of Corti. How does this thing look like? Basically, when you uncoil this, this is how it looks like. It will come like this. Ne? Inside there, it has sensory hair. Sensory cells, those hair, they have these cells. So now when this fluid is moving, it's going to cause this hair to move in and out. They move like this. Because this fluid is shaking. Yes. So when it shakes, then it causes, because they're sensitive, these cells, the impulse will be fired. And then it's being sent to cerebrum. Because this is sensation, hearing. And then the excess pressure will go back. You understand? And that excess pressure will be trapped by the round window. That's why you're saying that it raises the pressure from the inner ear. When you absorb the excess pressure, it means that now you are releasing this pressure, which is from that side. So you can say it releases the pressure from the inner ear or absorbs the excess pressure from the inner ear. Yes. So now it means that this impulse, these nerves, yes, they will take the impulse to the brain. Which part of the brain? Cerebrum. We have seen it. So that's why. And then now, this pressure inside, it must be maintained. When it is maintained, there is this tube which called the Eustachian tube or Eustachian tube. I don't know how you call it. Eustachian tube. This is the tube which helps to equalize the pressure on the either side of the tympanic membrane. When you yawn, how do you feel? You feel that the air is in between. So it's like those people have ever gone to trains, the underground trains. Yes. Where there is a time where you reach, you feel like there's something which is hurting your ears. It's because of the pressure. What do? Open your mouth, talk a bit. When you talk, make a yawn. When you make a yawn, the air will come in and then now it will be equalized. Meaning that now here the air is being sucked from this side. So it means that now once you open the mouth, the air will go through the Eustachian tube and then it will make the air between the two sides of the membrane will be equal. And then that painful thing you hear in the ear or you feel in the ear, yes, it will go. So that's the function of the Eustachian tube. Equalize pressure on the either side of the tympanic membrane. We say that the cochlea contains the organ of Corti, which is responsible for converting the stimulus into an impulse. And then it moves these nerves, which we call the auditory nerves. Auditory nerves. These nerves. Yes, the one which is coming from the balancing part, semicircular canal, and the one which is coming from the cochlea, both of them are called the auditory canal nerves. However, the one which is coming from here, it goes to the cerebellum, while this one, it goes to cerebrum. So this part which you see, the semicircular canal, is the one which is responsible for balance. So you guys, you have to know this ear, take it slow, get it, make sure that you understand it. Step one, you need to know how to label. Once you know how to label, you need to know the function. If you know the function, then you'll be able to know the hearing process. So when we come back here, which called the hearing process, is simple. Why? Because you need to know each and every part which is here. Yes. This is just trying to show you the internal part of the organ of Corti, of the cochlea, that the cells which I've tried to explain. Let's look at hearing process. You're going to go together. As I'm talking, you also talk inside your heart. Step one. The pinna traps. We say that what's the function of the pinna? It traps sound wave and directs it into the auditory canal. Auditory canal will transmit the wave into the tympanic membrane. You see, I'm just talking about the part and the function, and then I'll bring, as I'm talking about the part and function, putting them together, then it is forming the process of hearing. The pinna traps sound wave, and it traps and directs it into the auditory canal. The auditory canal transmits this wave into the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane will vibrate. Once the tympanic membrane vibrates, it causes the oscos to also vibrate, transmitting the vibration into oval window. The oscos also amplifies the vibration. So now, the oval window will vibrate, causing the fluid in the inner ear to vibrate. You see? The vibration of the fluid in the inner ear, yes, will cause the organ of Corti, yes, to be stimulated, firing the impulse to cerebrum for interpretation via the auditory nerves. You see? That is the hearing process. Let me repeat. The pinna collects sound and directs it to auditory canal. The auditory canal transmits the wave into the tympanic membrane. So tympanic membrane is done, pinna is done. The tympanic membrane will cause the oscos to vibrate, you see? So it will start to shake. The oscos will amplify the vibration and also transmits the vibration to oval window. I see. So oval window is also done. So now the oval window will transmit the vibration into the inner ear. You see, the vibration of the inner ear will stimulate the organ of Corti to change this stimulus into an impulse. You understand? And then which is sent to cerebrum for interpretation via the auditory nerves. That's it. So we have some parts which we have not talked about. We have some parts that is the round window and eustachian tube. So the round window, we can just talk about them just separately. Round window will absorb the excess pressure from the inner ear or release the excess pressure from the inner ear, while eustachian tube will equalize pressure on the either side of the tympanic membrane. We have not talked about the semicircular canals because semicircular canals is not hearing, that's the balance. We're going to look at it separately. So when you come back here on this hearing process, pinna traps and directs, you see, the sound wave into auditory canal. You see, tympanic membrane vibrates, transmits the vibration to oscos. That's the same thing I've talked about, into the middle ear. The oscos amplifies the vibration and carries this vibration in via the middle ear to the membrane of oval window. You see, goes to the oval window. So what's happening with the oval window? Oval window vibrates, causing the pressure wave in the inner ear. So it causes that wave, pressure wave, so that the fluid inside is able to shake. And now the cochlea vibrates. Yes, remember those cochlea vibration, not cochlea doesn't vibrate. The vibration in the cochlea, yes, will cause the sensory cells that is in the organ of Corti, yes, in the organ of Corti to be stimulated. You see? And then now, the cochlea and the nerve impulse the nerve impulse is generated, meaning that the stimulus in the cochlea is converted into a nerve impulse. Then the auditory nerve will transmit this nerve impulse to cerebrum for interpretation. That's the hearing. 6 marks, you must know them before you approach your exam. June exams, people who are doing June exam as finals, people who are doing June exam as grade 12, not final exams as June exam. Please don't make a mistake to go there without knowing this. Or otherwise, you are losing marks. Losing marks. So that's why you see they didn't talk about the oval window, sorry, the round window and the eustachian tube. We say that those are just parts which are responsible for maintaining this process happening by round window absorbing the excess pressure from the inner ear, and then the eustachian tube to equalize pressure on the either side of the tympanic membrane. So guys, that is it. Hey, I'm seeing that the time is rushing us. All right. So let's do it together. Let's label, guys. Let's label, guys. Let's label. Okay, what is A?
Pinna.
Pinna ear, pinna. And then what is B?
Tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane. What is C?
Ossicles. MIS.
What is the middle part? Remember, this is Marius. This is Incus. And then this is Stapes. So they are looking at the middle one. So you can't say oscos. So if it was generalized as this, then you say oscos. But now they pointed on a specific bone, which is in the middle. So it's going to be Incus. Yes. What is D?
In what?
Semicircular canals.
D is semicircular canals. What is E?
E is cochlea.
Cochlea.
Yes. What is F?
F is the auditory nerve.
Auditory nerves. What is G?
G is the
Auditory nerve.
Eustachian tube.
Auditory tube. Eustachian tube.
Eustachian tube.
I don't know. Some people they call it eustachian. Eustachian tube. Yes, eustachian tube. Yes. And then what is H? H is this?
H is the
oval window.
A round window.
Check the shape. That is
Oval
oval.
window.
That's round.
Oval
So which is which?
window.
Eh?
Round window.
Is
It's
it
round
oval?
window. Round window.
Round.
It's round.
No, it's oval.
Round or oval?
Guys,
Oval
this
window.
one is round. Oval is this. Check this one.
No, it's
Let me
oval.
zoom it out.
So it's
Let me
oval
zoom it
window.
out.
It's round window.
Don't you see
The
that this
oval
is
window
round?
is
This is round. This is oval. So the answer is round window.
Okay.
But
Yes. Yeah, if you check it again here, you are able to see that's what we said, that the upper one is oval window, and then the lower one is round window. It's round window because it's round. It's oval window because it's oval. Why do we call it a window? Because it is a gate from one point to. That's why they call it a window. Okay. Give the letter of the name. Okay, we're done that. Transmits impulse to the brain. Which part of the which transmits impulse to the brain?
F, the auditory nerve.
Auditory nerve.
Which is the auditory nerve. Thank you, guys. And then allows pressure to equalize between the outer ear and the middle ear.
Eustachian tube.
Eustachian tube, which is G. Remember, they said letter and the name, meaning that you have to get those 2 marks. Give only the letter of 2 structures in the diagram of the ear. When damaged, you would result in the following. Number 1, conductive hearing loss.
B.
B.
E.
E.
F.
B.
Yeah. Right, guys, when you say conductive, what does it mean? It means
It
that
allows
something
sound
which
to be transmitted into the air.
basically the vibration. Where do we have vibrations? We find vibrations here.
Oh.
So any of that part, if it is damaged, so basically, since they put the letters, is B and the C. Remember, they conduct, they attach to one another. It comes as a vibration. You understand? And then when they say now this, then it means that it is as a result of you can't sense the impulse cannot be transmitted. So it means that it's gonna be
F.
E. You understand? It's gonna be E. But still, because that's where it's being sensed from, but the impulse will not be transmitted. So also F. So they said give only the letter of two structures in the diagram of the ear. That's why you'll find out that it's B and C, and then here you'll see is E and F. E because it has the organ of Corti which senses, and F because now the impulse will not be transmitted in terms of an electrical message. Neuron, you see? And then this is sense. So the sensing is here in the cochlea, while the neuron is the F. What are they saying? And they're saying that middle ear infection are common causes. All right, we have not talked about the middle ear infections. Let's just talk about, okay. Let's talk about balance. Guys, are you ready for balance? I want to hear from you. Are you ready? Should we go?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here we need to listen carefully because we have new words which are involved. Among all the process of the nervous system, this one, they like it because they know that you fail it because you know that you don't remember the words. So this process is full of scientific words. Is it clear? It's simple. I did this side mode of balance so that it's able to simplify your work. So at least you must know this side is model of balance before you go to the what? To the paper. Let's start it. Balance. You see, balance is being controlled by the semicircular canals. In the semicircular canals, you see that these semicircular canals, they have a specific plane so that you are able to be detected in any angle you are talking about. So, balance. Balance is controlled by semicircular canals. We have two receptors. We have a first receptor, which we call the cristae, and then the second receptor is called maculae. We're going to ask you this. The first receptor is called cristae. The second receptor is called maculae. Cristae, maculae. Cristae, maculae. Cristae, maculae. Cristae, maculae. So you have to sing that so that it's able to stick in your head. You sing it, you write it down. You sing it, you write it down. You sing it, you write it down. You love it because if you hate it, it won't go into the head. And if you hate it, it's what they want to bring. And if they bring it because you hate it, you're going to fail it. So cristae, maculae, cristae, maculae, those are the receptors. But where is the cristae? What is the cristae used for? Cristae is responsible for change in the speed and direction. When you change the speed and direction, changing the speed and direction, speed and direction, speed and direction, it is crystal. The position of the head, you can nod your head. How fast is it? It means that it is the crystal which is going to be stimulated. But if you change the position, if you, when you nod the head, you are changing the position, isn't it? Yes. But if you shake your head, you are changing the direction of the head. When you shake it, you're changing the direction. Yes. Well, when you nod it, you are changing the what? The position. So when you nod it, when you change the position, what is stimulated? It is the maculae. Okay. Now let's start again. You have the stimulus is speed and direction. The second one is position of the head. How many receptors? We have 2. The first one is cristae, responsible for speed and direction, while the speed and the position is maculae. That is position of the head. Okay. Now you need to know, where is this cristae found? It's found in the ampulla of the semicircular canal. There is a part called ampulla on the semicircular canal. So it's found on the ampulla of the semicircular canal. While the cristae, the maculae, is found in the circulus and the utriculus. Circulus and utriculus. Circulus and utriculus. Circulus and utriculus. I'm saying it so that it sticks into your head. You have to sing it. I repeat, you have to sing it. So, the ampulla of the semicircular canal, we find the cristae there, while the circulus and the utriculus, we find the maculae. Because these and these are receptors, they're going to change the stimuli into a nerve impulse. And then the nerve impulse will be sent to cerebellum. Why cerebellum? Because that is balance. How does it go there? It goes along the auditory nerve. Why does it go to the cerebellum? Interpret the information so that balance is maintained. Okay, now let's repeat. Let's now say, how do we write in the paper using the Saidi's model of balance? Step 1, you need to identify the stimuli. Step 2, you need to identify the cristae. Step 3, you need to know the location. Step 4, now you need to combine the two. You will say, change in the speed and direction of the head will stimulate the cristae found in the ampulla of the semicircular canal. Can I repeat? Change in the speed and direction of the head, yes, will stimulate the cristae found in the ampulla of the semicircular canal. That's step 1. You put a comma. Step 2, change in the position of the head will stimulate the maculae found in the circulus and utriculus. That's another comma. The stimuli is converted into a nerve impulse. The stimuli from here and here, that's why it's called stimuli, the plural of stimulus. The stimuli is converted into a nerve impulse, okay, which is moved along the auditory nerve. Where? To cerebellum. For what? For interpretation. So what? To restore balance. Simple. So your job is to know these words. Your job is to know these words. Changing the speed and direction of the head will stimulate the cristae found in the ampulla of the semicircular canal. Change in the position of the head will stimulate the maculae found in the circulus and utriculus. The stimuli is converted into a nerve impulse, which is moved along the auditory nerve to the cerebellum for interpretation to restore balance. Go for Saidi mode of balance. Yes. So guys, make sure, yes, if you don't have this booklet, take a screenshot. I've cleared it for you. Take a screenshot. Make sure if there is any other word I should use it to mean that make sure you know this before you go to the paper. If there is any other word, emphasize that, use it. That's balance. When you come back here, the same story. The cristae in the semicircular canal, okay? Yes, you see cristae in the semicircular canal are stimulated by change in the position, by changing the direction of and the speed of the movement of the head. The maculae and the maculae in the circulus and the auriculus are stimulated, yes, by change in the position of the head. The cristae and the maculae, yes, convert the stimuli into nerve impulses, which is transmitted or which are transmitted along the auditory nerve to cerebellum. Interpretation, yes. For interpretation, the cerebellum then sends impulse to muscles so that balance is restored. You see that what is here in different color is exactly what is being written here. So you can use your words as long as you don't miss any of these words. If you miss any of these words, then it means that you are missing a mark. Yes. I know it might look complicated. Doesn't look complicated if you keep on repeating it. Make sure that you repeat it. You have enough time to do this. Yes. I was supposed to rush this, but I've not rushed it. So because sometimes rushing does not make a benefit to a student if when you just want to rush, finish up a specific part you wanted to finish. I hope you guys, you have got it. Let's talk about, let me just emphasize this before I talk about the effects. When they bring a question, how do they bring a question? They can bring an open question whereby they ask you to explain balance, or they bring a scenario that Zintle was playing netball, tried to shoot the goal, and then suddenly lost balance and then fell. As is falling, the ball is coming back, falling back, wants to save the ball, and then also try to grab the ball. You see that you are changing the position and you're also including the speed. Explain, how did Zintle try to restore the balance after reaching the ball? So it means that you're going to have to explain the speed and direction, and then you talk about the position of the head. At the end, you have to link this to catching the ball. You understand? For interpretation, so that the ball is catched and then balance is restored. So you have to explain depending on the scenario they have given you. Sometimes they give you a scenario whereby you only talk about the speed and direction, meaning that you explain that. If they only ask you a question which involves the speed and direction, meaning that you only explain this. And if they ask you something about position, then it means that you explain this. In other words, this is combined. See, you have to talk about whether it's speed and direction or position of what? Of the head. While this, because only for speed and direction, should only be talked about when you're talking about speed and direction. And then this, only for position. But Mina, I will advise that if they bring such question, because they don't bring this question and they say list 2 or list 4, just explain everything, they will find out the correct answer from there. Obviously, they cannot lose it. They cannot fail to give you the mark because you talked about this. Unless they are specific, they say give 2 points. But if they say explain or describe, describe everything, the answer. If you don't know, if you are confused, you see that things are not right for you, just do everything, because this is a description. When we are marking, we are looking at where is the correct answer. Even if you have written 10 pages and the answer is there in the middle, we look for it. Yes. So I think I'm clear there. Let's just talk about explain the ways in which A is in diagram structures. Yes. So you see, now you can also practice that question. I'll paste it in the group so that you're able to do it. Hearing defects, middle ear infection, meaning that here you have problems with the, did you know that many people are deaf? If you have said, yeah, you're also deaf. Yes. Because deafness does not mean you are 100% deaf. Hearing losses. If you have hearing losses, then it means that you are deaf. What is happening? When are you writing? Why are you writing on my screen? Stop it. We can call it. What's happening now? Is it my system or someone is? Good one. Are you the one writing?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm seeing something being written on the screen. All right, it's fine. So deafness, we say that deafness can be, you can be deaf, partial deaf, or completely deaf. Okay, so middle ear infection, first of the things which causes this deafness is, number 1 is middle ear infection. This is excess fluid in the middle ear. What causes that is a pathogen. A pathogen can be a bacteria. Remember, a pathogen is a disease-causing organism. Anything which causes diseases is called a pathogen. So in this infection, in most cases, is caused by pathogen. And guess what? This pathogen is so bad in such a way that it's gonna cause the ear start accumulating a fluid, a pus. As that fluid is smelling badly. So it means that this part, this here, the fluid accumulates there. You see? Now it's gonna start to come out of the ear like this, and is smelling. I think you have ever seen such people. It is not because of the koloshi. No. It's because of the bacteria which is causing this thing, the inside part of it to rot. Means that the inside part is rotting, and then the pus is coming out. Is it treatable? Yes, we can cure it. How? You insert a structure called a grommet. By inserting a grommet, it looks like this. The grommet looks like this. It has a hole inside, and it has 2 parts. So what we do is we put it in here. We cut your tympanic membrane. This is a tympanic membrane. We cut it, and then we insert this grommet so that it connects this side and this side. And then now the pus is able to move out. Number 2, because this is caused by a bacteria, so we apply what we call the antibiotics. So antibiotics will work there. So we insert the grommets. Number 2, we apply the antibiotics. This can cause hearing loss. Number 2, deafness. It could be a partial deaf, or it could be a total deaf, partial deaf. What causes this? Some of this is caused by not cleaning our ears. Like too much wax in the ear. You have ever seen people having a lot of wax in the ear? It can be caused by that.
Sir?
Number 2, it can be caused by injuries of the part of the ear or the nerves or part of the brain responsible for hearing. In this case, that is cerebral. You have
Mr.
got an
Said.
accident, and this accident has caused you to lose these, or these parts are damaged.
Sir!
Yes.
But why is it told that we shouldn't use earbuds to clean the ear because it pushes the wax further? But you're saying if we don't clean it, it gets damaged.
Well, it's not basically it's gonna get damaged, it's gonna get blocked. So these you call them those earbuds is because if, let me show you here. Let me use a bigger structure of the ear so that you're able to see what I'm saying. If this is your ear, now you put your earbud here, and then now remember the wax is here, ne? In science, we call it cerumen. I don't know why these things are happening on my screen. We call it cerumen. So now when you put the earbud, ne, you are pushing this cerumen to the tympanic membrane. Meaning that now it's going to accumulate here. You see? It's going to accumulate there. So now when you push, yes, some of it will going to be pulled out, but some of it is going to accumulate here. And once it accumulates on the tympanic membrane, the tympanic membrane will not vibrate. That's why it's known that so you can clean them. Eh? I only know from my side as a Muslim that we're supposed to wash our ears 5 times a day. Every single day, at least a minimum of 5 times a day. So, meaning that your ears are supposed to be clean. But still the wax is still there. Small. Why? Because this wax helps us to trap some of the insects and stuff. You understand? So if you don't clean your ear, this wax is going to accumulate and then it blocks. Once it blocks, it means that the sound will not go in properly. So you're going to have to suffer from what we call partial deafness. Sometimes this wax in science, we call it cerumen. 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 I don't know whether you can see it. Yes. It's cerumen. Sometimes we call it like that. When you see it, just know that that is the earwax. How do we sort that out? By removing the earwax. Some people, they even go to the doctors to remove those big. Go to YouTube and then you watch, you'll see those big earwax. There's some also in Thundereduc. I think there are some videos we have already uploaded which show those earwax which are being removed. So another thing is hardening of the ear tissue. It could be like the oscars, it can no longer vibrate. We saw it that it can also lead to conductive hearing loss. There is no conduction of this vibration, meaning so that it means that now the hearing loss is gonna happen. So how do we solve that? We apply the hearing aids, something which is gonna help you to hear. You have ever seen people having this? They bath with it, they sleep with it. Yes, it's just to help them to amplify the vibration. Number 2, if it is your cochlea which has been damaged, then we have to do the cochlear implant, like this kid. They drill here in your head so that they reach the cochlea. So this one is just a tattoo. The dad is showing them the kid that no, you are not alone. Yeah, I'm also having that. You understand? Just not to bring that. They call it what? They call it stigma. Yeah, in them. They said that, no, they become depressed, that, okay, it's only me, what? Yeah, so he was doing that. It's just a tattoo. But you have ever seen people they drill it. It's an operation. So meaning that now these parts are no longer working. They're going to have to use this, and then the impulse will be sent to the ear, to the cochlea direct. Without these oscos and stuff, all those things will no longer be used. So guys, basically that's the ear. You need to know the structure of the ear. You need to know the function of the parts. You need to know the hearing process. You need to know the balance. You need to know the defects of the ear.
Sir.
And once you know that, then you are able to know.
Sir.
Yes.
Can I please ask, what is the cochlea?
What's the cochlea?
Yes.
We have been talking about the cochlea.
Yes. Can you please repeat?
I'm not going to repeat everything, but cochlea is this part. This is the part. This is the cochlea. So that's where the organ of Corti, that's what we say, that the organ of Corti, the sensory cells of hearing, that's where they are located. It looks like this. Yes. When I come, yeah, I think when I come, yes, when I come to schools, yes, I think I'll bring my this ear, and then I show you exactly what is happening, how is the transmission being done, and those people who are attending from Thundereduc direct, I'll also show you. Yes, I will show you from here, and then those who are attending online, there is, I don't know, maybe I will just make a small video and then I'll show you how using, but you might not see okay, I'll have to show you, but if I don't, still you can also check it from some videos on YouTube. You can also find them, but maybe I'll try to do it so that you're able to see it physically. I would have showed it to you, but I have to go to the lab and then pick it. And the guy who is in charge of that is not around. So, guys, I think that is it. That is the ear. The next topic is supposed to be human endocrine system. I'm going to give you homework on this. What is endocrine system? Hormones. So we need to know this. There is nothing new I'm going to talk about here. I'll just explain. But you have ever heard about hypothalamus? You have ever heard about pituitary gland? You have ever heard about adrenal gland? Have you ever heard about pancreas? Have you ever heard about ovary? Have you ever heard about the testis? You have ever heard about the estrogen and progesterone? Have you ever heard about progesterone? So it means that now I'm just telling you to go back and read about it so that when I come back to teach it, you are able to remember. You have ever heard about the glucagon and insulin, that is grade 11 work? If not, these are the people who are suffering from sugar diabetes. It's because of this. Adrenaline, when we talked about it, when you are getting scared, so adrenaline is going to be what? It's going to be much so that it's able to prepare you for emergency. The only hormone which I say that maybe you have never heard about is aldosterone. Those people who did grade 11, I think you did it. You did. And then this one, thyroxine, you've never heard about it maybe. ADH, we'll also see it is responsible for amount of water in the body. So the pituitary gland, when we are talking about the brain, we said we're going to look at it here much more. Even the hypothalamus, we're going to look at them here much more because of the different hormones it produces. But among the hormones, we talked about follicle-stimulating hormone from reproduction. We talked about luteinizing hormone, still from reproduction. So you can read about, so basically you can read about the menstrual cycle, because the menstrual cycle involves FSH, LH, estrogen and progesterone. So you can read about them before we come back for the next class. Then you are able to, at least you can link. Here is just to talk about the pattern function, and what if this does not, you don't have it in the body, what is the consequences? That's it. And then after that, how do they work in the negative feedback mechanism? I'm just doing what we're going to cover in the next class. So how do you see that if you don't have this, you're going to suffer from goiter, something like that. If you have too much of it, it's hyperthyroidism. If you have less, it's hypothyroidism. So that's it. And then homeostasis, what we're going to cover in the homeostasis is that now it's the same glucose, the same hormones we have talked about, is the insulin. What will happen if it is too much? How do we bring it back to normal? If it is too low, how do we bring it back to high so that it goes back to normal? So those are the negative feedback mechanism which we talk about. We're going to talk about carbon dioxide, and then now we're going to talk about the salts. The salts, if too much in the body, people who eat too much salts, what is the effect? Yes. I talked about, and then the skin. We'll talk about the last organ as the skin, and then that is keeping the internal environment, keeping the temperature constant. And once we're done with that, then it means that we are done with this topic. This topic is not that big, it's just an hour. It can be covered because I'll just show you the techniques we use. If you are looking for salt, you can do for water, you can do for thyroxine, you can do for glucose, all of them. It's just the same technique. So see you in the next class. Guys, I'm going to stop here for today. I thought I'm going to finish all of them, but the time has